Alright guys, welcome back. So it's been a minute. So today we're hopping back into the 5.3 LS Mustang. There's been quite a bit of stuff that's happened to the old girl since the last time you guys have seen her. I really did an introduction and didn't talk much or show much more about it. So I'm gonna kind of try to jump back into it today, get back rolling with making some videos on her. So over here we have the LS in the car, as you can clearly tell. Before, it was not in the car. We were just still getting the car ready. It was still over here on the hoist, but we've got a lot of things. It's came really far since then. So I think before we were just putting the alternator and power steering bracket on. I have got the head, I don't know if I can get it on video very well, but it is clearing the power steering pump. I did get a battery bracket because the car, when I bought it, did not have one in it. I got it for like $12 off eBay. It was pretty clutch. They got the radiator back in there. We don't have any radiator lines or transmission lines hooked up quite yet, but we do have both the headers on, manifolds. We do have the coil packs along with the ignition wires and the spark plugs. We do have the dipstick tube in. The intake fits on nicely and sits, and it doesn't quite, the hood completely clears the engine as it is right now, but with this stock intake on, it like hits like right there on that and leaves about like the smallest gap to go down. So I'm not sure if we're gonna end up trimming the hood, or if we're gonna figure out a different intake, or if we're just gonna simply take the hood off again and not run it. But for right now, I just had it on to get all those measurements and stuff figured out, and I didn't quite get it taken back off or messed with. It's just sat since. The intake does fit perfectly, besides about an inch gap is if you see like from right there to right there. This piece needs trimmed out. I was in the middle of grinding it and hammering it down and shit when my grinder made a pop noise and started smoking, and long story short, I need a new grinder. So with that being said, the engine is in there. As you can see, we do have our standalone wiring harness. I don't know if I can get very good light right there, but I did poke in from here where that hole was for, what was it for? The heater core. So I don't have any of it hooked up yet, but it is through the firewall. Get the door open here. It comes down into right there. As you can see, I kind of beat up the heater core a little bit to get some clearance, because there was a plastic box that came down to about like right here. Got rid of that, and I poked through where the heater core hose was. I got the ECU. I've got it all programmed and ready and set. You can see all that right there. That's just a radio bracket. We got our fuses. This would be our ignition wire, which will be wired up to this bad boy here. And this I'm fuel pump, lights, some or another, master switch, make it all work. I just have it sitting in there now. This bracket ain't even on there very tight. I did get an ignition in. I think in the last video, I don't think I had quite had that in yet. I think it was just an empty hole. But we also do have the center console out, which you probably did notice. This looks a little funny, as if you could tell. None of this is hooked up or sitting there. So this would be the original stock Mustang one, which I don't think we're gonna end up using, because I don't think I can get it to work quite right. This is out of I wanna say a 98 Camaro. And that is also where I got my transmission and shift cable. That's right here. As you can see, the 4L60E is also all in there, cross member. So all of that is set. I do have the center console here. We did paint it black. There was a lot of stains and gross shit all over it, so we scrubbed it down, and we still just couldn't get it to look pretty, so we just said screw it and rattle canned it real fast. So that's basically the inside for now. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. I don't think I'm gonna fuck with getting a radio. I'm just trying to get the shifter in, the center console back down on there, all of it looking pieces back together. But until then, I need to go out and buy a new grinder to get the intake on. I still need a serpentine belt. The throttle cable, the stock one from the Mustang, does reach over here to the throttle cable. It does work fairly well. It just does not pop into this stock bracket. It kind of just lays across here and loops down in, but every time you press the gas, the sucker raises up, so it works perfect. So yeah, so basically we still need to get the harness through, the harness all put out and in, not through, it's through. We need to put it all, plug it into everything. Sorry, words are hard. Plug it all into everything, get the intake on top. I got the intake gaskets over there in a box. All that should be good to go. I need to get custom hoses to go from there to there and there to there. And then these are, or were, the stock transmission cooler lines. But since we went from a 3.8 to a 5.3 LS, a V6 to a V8, we are going to plug those, and I am ordering a standalone transmission cooler, which I am going to mount somewhere in here. If I can get this AC cooler out, I think I'm gonna have to take off this whole entire front lip, which is gonna be a pain in the ass, so that's why I've been kind of dragging on doing it. Trying to get everything else out of the way. The ABS did clear, works perfect. So yeah, realistically, I think I've about covered where we're at so far. As it sits, it's in there. Oh, I didn't quite get to show you guys the cross member, so we will come over here and do that really quick. So bear with me, I'm gonna get on the ground here. That is the old drive shaft. As you could tell, we still need to get a custom one. I just kind of left it on there. Not sure how well you guys can see all that. There we go. So there's the drive shaft. So the original one is probably, I want to say 2 or 3 inches back. So this transmission does sit like 2 or 3 inches farther than the original one. That's why I'm not able to use this drive shaft and just change the yoke like I was really hoping that I could, but that turned out to not be the case, because I did have a 4L60 yoke right here, which would have been perfect. I was hoping maybe I would just need a yoke extender. Oh, another thing we do need, I am going to be using this transmission dipstick for the 4L60 I have in here. It's gonna go back down like right through there and hit the hole. I did have another, or the one that came on this one, it didn't quite have this curve in it. It was just kind of straight, so it wasn't gonna work at all. So that one is full of transmission fluid though, so I need to leak it out before I can pull any of that shit off. But yeah, really, that's how it sits. It's coming along. We're getting there slowly but surely. Hopefully you guys keep staying tuned, watching the shorts that I'm posting. A lot easier and faster for me to get up than videos, but I am trying to continuously vlog about the process of the build of this LS in a 2004 body style Mustang. So yeah, stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching.